Greetings, my fellow freedom-loving sovereign thinkers. This is LL3's News Podcast. My name is Craig, and transmitting from the north central regions of the Beehive State, which is known as Utah. Actually, I'm in the city called Roy, which is within Ogden area. So, I'm just, like I said, it's been a little bit delays here and there. You know, signal's pretty bad, but I'm doing okay right now. So, I'm going to do a little short episode. So, thanks for your patience, and I'm real happy that people are listening to the last episode of the U.S. Declaration of Independence. So, I've been getting some positive feedback, and I thank everyone for sharing this as well. All right, so today, like I said, it's going to be pretty downsized version of the episode until I head back to the beautiful swampy mangroves of South Florida. And the first thing I'm going to be reading is from shtfplan.com. It's entitled Ration Animus, Blacks in Chicago Turn on Obama, Worst President Ever Elected. It's written by, again, Max Lavo, and it came out today. And as it reads, when your own voter base turn out on you and land-based you as the worst president ever elected, it probably means you've made a significant miscalculation in the political landscape. Is this, as Eric Holder recently called it, the manifestation of African Americans' racial animus? Barack Obama is, after all, half white, so these people protesting in the middle of Chicago must be doing so for racial reasons. Mr. President, we're asking you, for you, one woman says, you're spending billions of dollars in Texas, but we've a problem here in Chicago. We will not stand by this here and keep letting the senseless killing and shooting happen in our community. Another resident today, if you look at the time that we were brought here as slaves 400 years ago, we got some results today. One man called Mr. Obama to step down if he continued to shun the city's problems. For the president set aside all these funds for immigrants and have forsaken the African American community, I think that's a disgrace. The man told the blog Rebel Pundit he will go down as the worst president ever elected. Bill Clinton was the African American president. That's from the Washington Times. There's a video you won't find on progressive websites because it will blow the race card narrative out of the water. As it turned out, it's not just a bunch of white people out there criticizing President Barack Obama. It should be clear that some issues transcend political lines, and this is one of them. And the video putting that on there about the residents of Chicago, and you take the initiative to check it out. I will put all the stuff I'm going to report and read on my Spreaker page, okay? Is criticizing Obama really an issue of racial animus? Or is it possible that all Americans, regardless of race, are fed up with policies that continue to destroy our way of life? Billions of jobs have been lost, yet the floodgates of on the southern border have been opened, driving hundreds of thousands of more people into a job market that has been hammered for nearly a decade. Moreover, as residents of Detroit are unable to pay their water bill, rather than focusing taxpayer dollars to help poverty-stricken Americans, the Democratic-leaning U.S. Congress wants to dictate $3.7 billion to immigration reform that will do absolutely nothing to actually secure the border. In Chicago, where the landscape is starting to mirror that of the drug cartel controls the city streets of Mexico, residents are fed up with the total lack of law enforcement. And what does the administration do? They let known gang members from criminal organizations like sorry about that. Sorry about that, a little bit of a glitch there. And I will say here, they let gang members from criminal organizations like MS-13 come freely into the United States. That should do wonders for the national murder and violent crime rates in coming months and years. The policies of this administration and the stand-down orders to give immigration and customs enforcement agents along our southern border beg the question, what the hell is really going on here? And it's very interesting because I did talk about the whole immigration exodus on my last episode. And the truth of the matter is, you don't just let everyone in here. It's totally unacceptable. And like I said before, I don't care if they have the same surname as mine. It's Toth, T-O-T-H, and I am an American citizen and Austrian-Hungarian descent. That's one of my mixtures. I'm a mutt myself, but it's totally unacceptable. It violates Article 4, Section 4 of our U.S. Constitution. And in addition, what's going on in Chicago, they have a good point, but the problem is they're trying to rely on the President of the United States to go to help them on the crime-driven streets of Chicago. I have to say this to the people in their communities in Illinois. You need to start exercising your Bill of Rights under Article 1 of your state constitution. And as it says here, Article 1, Section 1, inherited and inalienable rights. All men are by nature free and independent and have certain inherited and inalienable rights, among which are life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. To secure these rights and the protection of property, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. You guys got that power. And if you have to use it to defend yourselves and your families from these criminals, they'll be running scared like cowards. And another thing people in Chicago need to start looking at as well, end the drug war. Get them where it hurts. That's how you do it. Because the whole thing is this, my friends. Your government is just as corrupt as a lot of places. Like all your big communities, like Chicago, have the mafia, and you have the small little hick towns with boss hogs. Fight the tyranny. And that's all I have to say. And hopefully the people of Chicago don't rely on some president who is a teleprompting, reading stooge, and a bend-over Bob or bellboy to the New World Order, and not because of his skin color or as a Democrat, because I criticize the same people as George W. Bush, George Herbert Walker Bush, Bill Clinton, and so forth, okay? That's how I look at it. The people in Chicago, you are the first line of defense. The police aren't obligated to protect you. If you disagree on that, prove me wrong in good faith, okay? All right, the next one here came from Susan Posel. Occupy Corporatism came out today. And here are the things like, are electric cars a solution to the pollution problem? As it reads here, the Chinese government, according to the Xinhua news agency, XNA is looking to replace creative automotive technology with new energy vehicles, NEV. XNA report that 5 government departments and ministries formed a joint plan that will see 30% of the vehicles that will be purchased for government to use to utilize clean energy. Between 2014 and 2016, clean energy vehicles increased because of this joint plan with the Chinese government to reduce air pollution with the investments in electric cars. There is also a 10% tax exemption on the purchase of NEV to entice customers to buy for the next 3 years. For the purchase of fully electric, hybrid, and fuel cell cars, the Chinese State Council has levied taxes for the sake of achieving industrial development and environmental protection. The goal of the NEV boom is to have 5 million of them on the streets in China by 2020. Now the focus is on bringing the price down with subsidies and local businesses, cooperation, and the collaborative effort. And there is a video on that about these Chinese electric cars, which is via YouTube, but it's on this site as well. Now we'll proceed. In the U.S., preparations for the conversion from petrol to electric vehicles is having an interesting beginning. Recently, the University of Michigan Engineering College, UMEC, began construction on a fake urban city on 32 acres of land in the southeastern part of the state to test the safety and security of the electric self-driving cars, which is SDCs. This city is being affectionately called the Automated Vehicle Testing Site Facility that will be under the oversight of the UM Mobility Transformation Center, MTC. This real-life virtual city include traffic lights, intersections, traffic signs, and other road signs, sidewalks, buildings, railroad crossing, construction sites, roundabouts, merging lanes. The only thing that will be missing from the city is pedestrians, heavy traffic, and businesses. These Fox street lights will be programmable as well as mechanical pedestrians that will surprise the driverless vehicles as they pass through. That's real tricky, driverless vehicles. Self-automation, I think it'd be totally useless in my opinion, but I will proceed. In order to safety test SDCs, UM have decided to construct a fake city that would facilitate a variety of different traffic options without the concern for accidents or pedestrians who might be hurt during the testing by an STC running a red light or barreling through an intersection. Peter Sweatman, director of the NTC and the UN Transportation Research Institute, TRC, said the College of Engineering brings expertise in robotics and how to test sophisticated machines. Google has unveiled their very own line of STCs, complete with stop-button controls, no steering wheel or pedals, and a city car-friendly style that is being designed to be appealing to people. That means we'll do the driving, you don't. It's called dumb down the masses. That make your own judgment. This two-seater car will be propelled by electricity and limited to 25 miles per hour to help ensure safety. If there is a problem, the driver can take over with a plug, and that is expected to be removed once customer confidence in the technology is solidified. Chris Urmson, director of Google self-driving projects, said, "We are really excited about this vehicle. It is something that will allow us to really push the capabilities of self-driving technology and understand the limitations." The car had the ability to improve the people's lives by transforming mobility. Google Toyota Prius STC was given the green light by the Nevada Department of Motor Vehicles to experiment on roads and highways within the state. As it says here, Nissan has joined forces with Google to endeavor on a marketing campaign to make the new SED Leaf more attractive to the general public, using artificial intelligence provided by Google and other features such as an around view cameras and actuators. Nissan believes that these cars will give ease to complexity in real-world situations. In the state of California, Department of Motor Vehicles, CDMV, will begin issuing driver's licenses to driverless cars with human co-pilots for only $150. This fee includes 10 vehicles and no more than 20 test drivers. Google will benefit from this development as they perfect their newly created SDC. Interesting stuff here. I can say a little small version, a teased version of the Venus Project. Yeah, look that up if you have a chance. I'll try to put this on that page if possible. If not, just look up Venus Project. You can probably get that on YouTube, or there's some websites on it. And don't get me wrong, I'm not having against electrical cars, but I think it should be more to the open, competitive, free market. And I'll tell you one thing, if you start doing that, that would be a lot better instead of having the government trying to tell us what to buy and make suggestions. I would like to see an open, competitive, free market in the United States. And I'll tell you one thing, if that happens and people start buying electric cars on their own free will on a voluntary basis, you will see the price of oil plummet really, really well. And don't be surprised if they're going to have chargers for the battery via solar power. Like solar power generators would be fantastic. And I'll tell you one thing, the big tyrannical oil companies will go crazy. That's what I like about an open, competitive, free market. That's my form of capitalism. It's volunteered rather than conscripted or mandated. And hopefully, that's all I like to see that coming. But the Google self-driving project is New World Order 101. It wants to be dumb, stagnant, and happy. And I've been really minimal in the stuff I use in my Google. I don't really need it. I don't use it as a search engine. It's a very good example. So, actually, that's how I see it. All this stuff. Pay attention thoroughly, and you, the people, have the initiative to make your own choices rather than some suit and tie looking dork, regardless what you look, can tell you and dictate. Just recommend I read Ebenezer's propaganda, and you will understand why. Okay, next one here came out today as well. This is from PNAC, which is Photography is Not a Crime, came out today, and it says here, it's by Carlos Miller, by the way. Miami cop fearing termination after altercation with Internal Affairs Lieutenant. He pulled over as an update. A Miami police officer pulled a car over for speeding last month, which turned out to be plainclothes Internal Affairs Lieutenant who shoved the door open at the officer after refusing to provide his driver's license, leading to a struggle on the side of the road that was caught on camera. As the two were on the ground wrestling, another 3 cops who just happened to be in the area pulled up and piled on the screaming driver. Only to pull up, they realized the man at the bottom was an internal affairs lieutenant from their own department. That was when Officer Marcel Jackson, the cop who initiated the stop, who sent his patrol car, and Internal Affairs Lieutenant David Ramrod assumed the situation. Realizing the outranking officer with more than 2 decades of seniority over him was going to turn him into an aggressor, Jackson pulled out his cell phone and began taking photos of the officers that began arriving. But then a cop ordered him to stop, and another cop later ordered him to delete the photos. However, unknowing to the officers at the time, Jackson had video recorded the entire incident with his GoPro camera when he attached to his dash, but shoved in between the seat after realizing they were turning against him, keeping it recording to capture the ensuing conversations. The department does not use dash or body cams, so it is not something they would accept. Adding the usual irony of cops investigating cops, the Department's Internal Affairs Department is now investigating the incident involving their own lieutenant, who has been transferred to a Special Investigation Section, a top-secret unit that works in partnership with the state and federal agencies, considered a promotion by officers in the department, even though technically a lateral transfer. The video was leaked to the Crespo Program Report, a Miami blog operated by El Crespo that regularly breaks insider stories that otherwise will not see the light of day, many of which are followed by local media. Crespo, who has profiled in my book on citizen journalism, has spoken to sources from the department and explains the issue began when Ramrod condescendingly asked Jackson a question about his physical appearance. My source tell me that Ramrod conceded that he had indeed asked Jackson, "What's that on your face?" The African American men have a problem shaving because of skin bumps caused by ingrown facial hair, and it's a recognized medical problem that allows police officers not to shave a letter from a doctor. Crespo also explains that he has not spoken to Jackson, nor did Jackson leak him the video. Rather, it was leaked by sources wanting to protect Jackson from getting wrongly terminated. To try to protect himself even more, I've been told that Jackson put a call into the state attorney's office seeking guidance and approval for an arrest, and in the course of the conversation revealed to them he had recorded the entire incident on a dash cam. Jackson was then ordered to go to IA and give a statement. During the course of that interview, which some believe was a prelude to relieving Jackson from duty, the folks in IA discovered the existence of the dash cam and the videotape. Jackson was asked voluntarily, turned over the tape, and refused, and was eventually ordered to do so under the claim that it was evidence in a criminal investigation. My sources tell me that as a result, in a way that this investigation has been handled so far, there was never a use of force report, traffic citation against Ramrod for speeding, or an arrest report written, and that no warrant issued. Ramrod has supposedly been transferred laterally to IA to SIS, which some people actually consider promotion of sorts, and he was provided an attorney by the FOP. Jackson so far remains on patrol and went out and got his own lawyer, because even though the videotape clear that Ramos was the aggressor and his efforts to get out of his car, Jackson, as a lone man on the totem pole, is believed to be one who stands the best chance of actually being punished over this incident. It's just another example on how family and friends work in the Banana Republic of Miami. Well, that's just an example, okay? A lot of cities have these issues, not just in Miami. In the video, which is posted below, Jackson sits in his car after the incident and can be heard calling a guy named Rick, who apparently is another officer, perhaps the supervisor, telling him the story of how the driver flashed a badge, asked what was on his face, and pushed the door open on him. He is running around to pull muscle and rank, but I'm telling him, "Sir, you can't do that." He's telling me, "Get the fuck in your car." That's what's been written, my friends, okay? Sorry about that. I was, "What are you talking to?" I said, "Sir, license, registration, insurance, just like any 19 I've ever done in my life, dude." And this guy jumps out down my throat, and I'm like, okay, he didn't give me a chance to say what I have pulled him over for. I thought I was going to shoot the man because I didn't know if he was armed, whether he is a police or not. I didn't know if he was going to pull out a weapon. Jackson tells Rick that another internal affairs officer has shown up to the scene, one who has written him up before. In fact, Jackson was suspended without pay for 80 hours back in 2008 when he failed to report a use of force incident, which is a whooping amount of time considering cops routinely gets nothing more than paid administrative leave. The complainant, James Farley, that he was at 1110 Elizabeth Street, Miami, Florida 33127 on December 8, 2007 when Officer Marcel Jackson arrested him without cause. It was further alleged by Mr. Farley that Officer Jackson handcuffed him and threw him into the ground. Mr. Farley fell face toward and his chest landed on some rocks. Officer used expletives during the arrest and instructed Mr. Farley to shut up. Mr. Farley indicated that several times he complained of the handcuffs being too tight, which is resulting in bruising to his wrist. However, Officer Jackson failed to adjust the handcuffs. Sergeant Rolando E. Davis and Sergeant Nelson Cruz of Internal Affairs conducted an investigation and rendered a finding inconclusive regarding the allegations of abusive treatment and discourtesy. However, during the course of the Internal Affairs investigation, the allegation of misconduct was added to the complaint in light of Officer Jackson failing to report his use of force during Mr. Farley's arrest. Allegation of misconduct against Officer Jackson was sustained by Internal Affairs and an 80-hour suspension without pay was imposed. Crespo posted 3 videos, one of the altercation, the other one of the conversation of the entire incident. All 3 are posted below. The extended video also captures the conversation between Jackson and Javier Ortiz, the President Fraternal Order of Police, the police union, which also represents Ramos. In the extended video, Ramos speeds past Jackson at 8 minutes 11 seconds is pulled over about a minute later. An altercation just 10 minutes in the video. "Get the F off me," Ramos screams from beneath the pile, which is ironic considering how many cops have been exonerated for doing the same to other citizens. "Do you know who the F am I am?" Ramos screams at Jackson after he stands up. "No, I don't," Jackson responds. I showed you ID," Ramos yelled. But Jackson told Rick that Ramos did nothing more than a flash a badge while he was insisting for a license, registration, and proof of insurance. Would you think an internal affairs lieutenant would appreciate a cop doing things by the book? But this is a lieutenant who sped right past the cop's patrol car and continued speeding for a minute, even as the patrol car began following him, evidently expecting his badge to get him out of a ticket. So it's understandable that why at 21:30, that's the time in the video, Jackson places the camera between the seats where it goes dark, and even though he continues the recording audio, and the conversation with Rick begins at 23:43 time and lasts until 29 minutes and 10 seconds when he tells Rick he's going to step out to take photos. Within a minute, he's being ordered to stop taking photos because he's making things worse. "I'm not making things worse," he says. "I can take pictures." The cop tells him because he's an undercover cop involved, is that supposed to make a difference? It is not public display. It's on a public display. I can take pictures of whatever is public, Jackson says. "We're going to allow this crap to happen," the unseen cop tells him. "Put your phone away and relax. Go sit in your car now." Later, a cop walks up to his car and demands an explanation. All I'm doing is taking pictures." "Yeah, and you're testing." "I'm not testing. I'm documenting all those people in cahoots. That's why I'm taking pictures." Minutes later, a union president Ortiz walks up. "I don't know what the F is going on. I understand what he did, but right now, as you can see, it is your effing world because of who it is. So we're going to get an attorney here, and we're going to figure out how we're going to handle this. I don't think we're just going to let this go or anything, you know." "I'm not going to let it go. I was insulted," Jackson said. "You were insulted? You were battered," Ortiz said. "That too." At 41:50, Ortiz walks back to Jackson's car and tells him to delete the photo, but Jackson's reluctant to do so. I'm just telling you. Just say yes, I don't care," Ortiz tells him, letting him know that he won't push the matter if he verbally agrees to do so. "I will," Jackson says. "Thank you very much," Ortiz says. Keys then comes back and tells Jackson that he got into some type dispute with Ramirez a week earlier, so they can clearly dysfunctional people in a dysfunctional department, but that's why it's always been. Crespo also reported that just last week, Chief Manuel Rosa sent out a memo to officers advising about benefits of the body-mounted cameras, so perhaps the department will start issuing them to officers someday. But if you look at the department's history of corruption, abuse, ineptness, you can understand why you have never seriously considered issuing cameras to officers. It is the department after all, and that led to the creation of this blog after they arrested me for taking photos in 2007. Those camera-shy officers permanently honored the PNAC header photo. Last month's incident is being discussed by Miami police officers on Leo affairs. Jackson is a militant as they come, and Ramirez is an arrogant a-hole. That's a bad mix. Jackson definitely knew who he was. He just picked the wrong battle. He's going to lose in the long run. This administration is good covering crap up, but they're going to cover this one up no matter what they end up doing to Jackson. Update. So apparently they relieved Jackson of duty on Friday, according to officers of the Leo affairs. Today, local stations will no doubt be on a story. You would hope anyway, and maybe get the statement from the Miami Police Department. They will probably claim that he's been subject to too many internal affairs investigations, and maybe that was the case, but nobody will see that internal affairs has no credibility. Okay, it's interesting about this because Officer Jackson may have some few issues in the past, and he probably made some bad errors of judgment. However, based on what I saw in this video, with when he pulled over Ramirez, Mr. Ramirez, I think it's called, yeah, he's the one who was pretty aggressive, okay, to Officer Jackson. So Officer Jackson probably did everything by protocol, but when Mr. Ramirez came out of the door aggressively, that's when Jackson had to take him to the ground. So, and I have to say, I may have my disagreements with some of the police officers, but he had to be very observant, and he was in the right. Okay, Jackson was. And there are video footage on that too, which is like, a couple of them on here, and the traffic stop in its entirety. So the 3 video links, and I will recommend this from one union man to another. You know how you solve this? Have Officer Jackson, and Officer Ramirez at an FPO meeting. Let them duke it out during unfinished business or new business, and both pay your fine. End the story. Enough. Take it to a union meeting. That's all I have to say. And you know what? And if whoever gets the attitude adjustment and the one calls the cops, burn their card, fling them out the door, and tell them you're nothing more than a pathetic scab. That's all I have to say about that ordeal, okay? Take it to a union meeting and hand it up there. You know what? I would back them up 100%. That would be great. All right. Last but not least, this is from NaturalNews.com. It's a really good article, and Mike Adams always does a fantastic job. This is entitled 11 Simple Everyday Tips to Lower Your Colon Cancer Risk. This is from Ruben Chow. As it reads, colon cancer is one of the top killers in the modern world today. A 2010 study estimates that the 5-year survival rate colorectal, colon plus rectal cancer sufferers in Europe was less than 60%, while 1/3 of colon cancer sufferers in this developed world die from the disease. These statistics are high, unfortunately, when we consider that colon cancer is actually one of the most preventable types of cancers. Here's what you can do every day to lower your risk. Fiber. Consume plenty of fiber. Fiber moves cancer-causing substances along in your colon more quickly, thus reducing their potential to cause harm. Fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and beans are the best fiber sources. If you're not having at least one significant bowel movement every day, you probably need to consume more fiber. Water. Drink plenty of water. Water is needed for many functions in the body, including flushing cancer-causing compounds away. Lack of water is a major constipation as well. If your urine dark-colored or strong-smelling, or you're not urinating at least once every 2 or 3 hours, you probably need some water. Natural whole foods. Consume more natural whole foods in place of processed foods that come in packages, boxes, bottles, and cans. The former usually contains many health-boosting and body-nourishing nutrients in their natural, easy, assimilated state, while the latter usually comes with dozens of chemical preservatives and food additives which harm your health, including elevating your cancer risk. Eating organic produce will be an added bonus as you're increasing the amount of nutrients in your body receives, while at the same time cutting down on the doses of harmful chemical pesticides it is bombarded with. Colorful vegetables. Many colorful vegetables contain a wide array of phytonutrients and antioxidants which offer cancer-preventing and cancer-fighting properties. Include different colored vegetables in your diet, from usual greens to purple vegetables to the red and orange ones like carrots and tomatoes. It's been said that colorful diet is a health-promoting one. Herbal spices. Use herbal spices instead of artificial flavoring to flavor your food. Again, the former contain many cancer-fighting compounds, while latter could actually be carcinogenic. Avoid sugars. Cut out processed sugars. They inhibit your immune system and mess up your blood sugar level. This is important because immune suppression contributes to various types of cancers and even many other diseases. Reduce red meat. Eat red meat in moderation, as has been linked to increase to colon cancer. Reduce alcohol. Studies have also linked alcohol consumption with colon cancer. It would thus be prudent to drink alcohol in moderation. Some experts advocate staying away altogether. Understandable? So always have a balanced diet, I would say. Exercise. Many have shown that moderate exercise lowers cancer risk and even boosts the survival outcomes of cancer sufferers. On the flip side, being sedentary and seated for long hours every day raises your cancer risk. Yeah, so don't be a couch potato, alright? Manage stress. Stress is a big factor in immune suppression and cancer development, and proper stress management strategies are an integral part of any healthy lifestyle. Emotional stressors such as anger, jealousy, grief, and unhappiness are also implicated to be dealt with as well. Nature. Being near greenery has a profound impact on your health, including lowering blood pressure and boosting immune function. So get in touch with nature regularly. Yeah, hit those beautiful parks, whether it's state or national. You'll be surprised, my friends. Alright, and to the conclusion. Generally speaking, a strong immune system is better able to keep cancer at bay. At the same time, a clean colon is a healthy one, and a healthy colon does not easily succumb to colon cancer. Learn about what to eat to keep your colon clean. There's a link for that as well. And okay, so I did that. Oops. Okay, let's see what we can do right here. Boom. One more time. Boom. And it tells you there's a website on here too for that link. It tells you what to eat, and it's really good stuff. And it tells you about cleaner skin, less fatigue, fewer headaches, and a lot of good stuff on here. Herbs with positive effects, prunes and prune juice, spinach, figs, plums, phallic seeds, almonds, senna herbs, green tea, chickweed tea, and there's another page for that also. Definitely check that out, and that link will be on that on the natural news page. Yes, I'll always recommend, always try to have a healthy lifestyle as the best of your ability. Learn to educate yourselves a lot more on what you consume. Learn what chemicals are. I'm still gotta practice this every day, my friends. So I'm not the only one, alright? But always keep your health. My father, may his soul be forever free, harassed the daylight out of me, and I thank him eternally for it. Alright, so that's all, my friends, and thanks for everyone for checking out my show, listening. and your patience as well. I got like 1,365 followers. I think it's really neat. Just keep on spreading that message of love to everyone you know about my show. It will be greatly appreciated. And if you want to hit your comments, you can get me on Spreaker. Excuse me. Sorry about that. I just got a blank mind there. Spreaker, Facebook, Twitter, Google+, YouTube. Let's see. I hit worldtruth.org once in a while too. So you can hit me on your comments as well. All right. And thank you for everyone for listening. As always, demoniac resistance is healthy for the soul and can liberate societies. Until next time, take care of yourselves, keep on spreading the love, and may your guardian spirits be with you.